put off the old man.
Yeah, we can get that precept, you know.
John 3:7 says, marvel not that I said unto thee, you must be born again.
Right, you must be born again. So this is what made these prophets, basically virgins, because they had been born again. They were spiritually cleansed from that demon, and now they became a new creature in Yahweh Shah. Go ahead, bro.
It says, the wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof,
Right.
but canst not tell whence it cometh,
Right.
and whither it goeth.
Right.
So it was everyone that is born of the Spirit.
Right, and that's how the spirit works. It just hits you and then it leaves. It hits you and then it leaves. Go ahead, bro.
Back in Matthew 25, verse 2, and 5 of them were wise,
Right.
and 5 were foolish.
Right.
They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them.
Mm-hmm.
They truly were really unbelievers.
Right.
You know, they were those ones when you go into the parable of the sower. Those the ones that the sun had scorched or the vines had choked out.
Yeah.
Like those that come around and say they're gonna be around, or those that fall out. You know what I'm saying? They truly wasn't rooted in this truth, man.
That's right.
So they really didn't have no oil.
Most I gave them a strong illusion.
None.
And within that strong illusion, they stopped basically packing their oil.
Withering away.
They start withering away. And what makes you foolish? When you go to that term fool, it actually goes into a definition saying empty-headed. What is the Holy Spirit dwells in? Your mind, your head. So basically, if you're empty-headed, you got milk, you lack spirit.
The Holy Spirit dwell with your spirit.
That's it. And your mind, your spirit is in your head region. Right? Go ahead, bro.
Verse 4 again. But the wise took oil in, so like it, verse 3. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them.
Mm-hmm.
But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps.
And you have to continue to do this process. Then you stand connected to your spiritual source, which is Yahweh Shem Shah. And you do that by fasting, by praying, fellowshipping with the brothers, studying, so on and so forth. You know?
You can yourself. You know what I'm saying? You gotta examine yourself.
Right.
You know, get counsel when necessary.
Right.
You know, all that go hand in hand, man.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 5. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered
Meaning
and
what?
slept.
So how did the bridegroom tarry? Go to Psalm 110 and verse 1 real fast. Remember, after the crucifixion, Yahweh Shah reported back to the spiritual realm. Right? And then, of course, in the process of time, he had to come to the Americas, present himself. Again, after he did that, he returned back to the spiritual realm where he presently sits with the Most High Yahweh. Go ahead, bro.
The book of Psalms 110 and 1 said, the Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool.
Right, so meaning basically Yahweh shall return to the spiritual realm, right? And at the process of time, what happened? We were voided of this truth. Everybody lost the way. We all became Gentiles. That's what it means from a spiritual sense, that we slumber and we slept.
That's right.
Until when? 1969, in the forerunner for John the Baptist's return in the process of reincarnation we call Alba Bivens. That's what that's saying.
Yeah, the business to attend to.
That's right. That's right. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 6. And at midnight there was a cry made, behold.
Well, 1969. That's the midnight. Because when you think about that, midnight basically is what? It's a transition. You can look at midnight too from a symbolic standpoint, from one transition to another transition. But really that transition of the kingdom started in 1969.
Like a transition from night to day.
That's it.
Waking us up.
Right, right. And then what happens in the day? That's going to be our rulership.
That's what Esau was able to get fully witness his doing.
That's it. Right.
Verse 7. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps.
Now, if you know anything about trimming a lamp, I actually did a couple videos on it. It's very important for you to trim a lamp, and you have to trim it at a certain point. So basically, when your lamp is trimmed, that means, for example, the wick on the candle. If you trim that wick on the candle, that flame is going to burn higher, it's going to burn brighter. You know what I'm saying? But if you're not basically trimming your lamp, meaning staying prepared, then basically, yeah, you're not going to have a good quality of a light source. And that's what's going on with these 5 foolish virgins. You know what I'm saying? They came into the truth. Something happened. Yahweh Shema did something to them. They stopped collecting the oil, and now they lack the spirit, man. And that's what made them foolish. Because remember, they all was born again. Because how do we know? Going back to the first verse, they became virgins.
Yep.
A new creature in Yahweh Shai. Right?
Yep.
That makes sense?
So, you know, I should say some crept in unaware.
That's it.
That was the 5 foolish.
Man.
All right. Back in verse 8 again. And the foolish said unto verse 8, and the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out.
No, meaning what? That means what? You got to go get this thing for yourself.
Yeah.
Because you had every opportunity, such as we did.
Yeah.
Right? Starting in 1969, then YouTube presented the apostle around, what, 2007. So no, we're not going to just start breaking down the basic scriptures to you when you're supposed to be so-called elders yourself.
Right. And this is going to be that point of the famine of the word, man. You know, the Lord is going to cause our tongue to cleave to the roof of our mouth, man. Because he says it's going to come that time of famine, not of bread nor of water, but the thirst of the word, man. Mm-hmm. And that thirst of the word is symbolic to that oil, man, and getting that understanding, that truth. Yeah. And the Lord said what? Like you brought out earlier, knowledge and wisdom still be the stability of our time. Yeah. So if you done lost your oil, okay, if you haven't trimmed your lamp, then that's your spirit. The Lord had taken the spirit from you.
It's a light source. You're not going to be able to see in the darkness, man. That's what it is. It's a light source. The oil is basically so you can turn on your lamp, be able to see, be able to maneuver. Yep. If you don't have the oil, you're not going to be able to see. You're going to die.
Right. Meaning what? The Lord is not going to be your guiding light.
No. That's
you ain't going to have no truth.
What do you house I say? I am the light. I am the way.
I am the way. Yep.
Hit that Proverbs real quick, bro.
This is Proverbs 21 and 20. There is treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise.
Right, so the oil is in the dwelling of the wise. What oil? This spiritual oil, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai dwells in the presence of the wise, in the spirit at this time frame. Go ahead.
It said, but a foolish man spendeth it up.
And that's what these 5 foolish virgins did. They spent up all the oil, burning the goddamn lamb when there wasn't no need to.
For filthy lucre's sake.
Right.
Know,
here it is, it's outside, you got daylight outside, you got your lamps on.
Like, what's really going on?
You done spent it up.
And now that time has come when you really need it.
Right.
You know, when you need that light, that stability, and you don't have it.
That's it. Read that again, bro.
It says, Proverbs 21 and 20, there is treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spendeth it up.
And that's what these foolish virgins did. They done spent it up. Hey, so 1 Thessalonians 5 and 2. So now when that night comes, you ain't going to be able to see. Somebody can break it down. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord Yahweh Shai so come as a thief in the night.
And during that night, this is when you're going to need what you've been talking about. You know? This is what you're going to need to lean on too.
Yeah. Niggas got doctrine saying Edomites are Jakes with black, red hair. That don't even make fucking sense. So you mean tell me if a Jake dyes his hair red, he's an Edomite now? Look at your doctrine, man. It's not even foolproof.
It's a fucking joke, man. It makes absolutely no sense. And where is that in the scriptures? I mean, that'll sum it all up. Just point it out, man. Anywhere between Genesis and Revelation, just point it out. Just point it out. Show it. But you can't.
This is what makes you an Edomite. This is Genesis, let's start it, 25 and 23. And Yahweh, be a prophet, said unto her, Rebekah, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from your bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
Yep.
Break that down.
And one people going into Jacob being the stronger person. We're naturally and physically, stronger than all you Edomites in every attribute that you can ever think of.
Yeah.
But we also have we got the strongest connection to Yahweh we got the strongest connection to righteousness.
Wow.
Than you. So the elder should serve the younger. You came out first.
That's right.
So is destined for you to serve the Israelites in the final kingdom. You know, and best believe that was a common topic.
That's right.
Yeah.
Genesis 25 and 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. Verse 25. And the first came out red all over like in hairy garment. So describing, go ahead.
Oh, you got it.
Describing Esau to the color of a red garment. That's all they're saying. No, he didn't have a full beard
Right.
when he got here. Just means what? That his
transparent.
blood vessels appear within the skin. Right? And the first came out red all over in hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Now, what does that mean in the Hebrew? Ashashua. Okay? Wasted away.
And you know, bro,
Go ahead, bro.
they don't understand context. It says like a hairy garment.
Right.
You know,
That's a comparison.
it's a comparison.
Very good.
It's not literal, bro. You don't see hairy babies, man. You know, when Isaac saw E come out, well, that's how E got his name.
That's it.
You know,
That's it.
because like you said, the blood showed forth.
A
He was
nomen.
shocked, dog.
Nomen.
A name prediction.
Yeah. Where's pigment at,
That's
basically?
right. Because they-
What's wrong with him?
Right. Right. He was the only He was the only one looking different.
Yeah.
Everybody else had melanin. Melanin and pigmentation, except for Esau. Now what makes you an Edomite, right? If your father's lineage goes back to Esau, right? So let's get Numbers, the 2nd chapter.
Then it's the worst origin story ever. To be an Edomite, you had the worst origin story and you had the worst ending.
Right. Numbers 2 and 1. And the Lord Yahweh spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, every man of the son of Israel shall pitch by his own standard with the ensign of their father's house. Far off about the tabernacle of the congregation shall they pitch. So what can you associate this scripture is that your father's lineage dictates who you are.
Yeah.
That's all they're saying. According to the Jewish standard, they say it's actually depicted by your mother, but that's false. Your father has the X and Y chromosome, which also reveals the spirit of how the will of Yahweh Shemashah wants you to come out. So if he shoots in that certain chromosome, you become a male or a female. But still, your lineage goes back from your father to your forefather.
And it doesn't matter who your mother was, man. She's just a vessel.
Right.
You know, she just houses the man's DNA.
She's an incubator.
You know, that's all she is, man. So it don't matter how you look. You know, it don't matter how you look. It goes right back into what spirit you come from.
Right.
You know?
And then you got niggas talking about how GMS has mamzers, you know, in the camp. Well, hell, our forefathers were so-called mamzers if you're using that ideology.
And I mean, brothers always use the just a simple example to prove that it's of your father's seed who you are. By if you take an apple seed, and I done heard all kind of brothers just make this example. You take an apple seed out of an apple, fresh out of America, and take it to Mexico and plant that bitch, it's not gonna come back a fucking orange. It's gonna come back a damn apple. It might not look like your regular apple you get in America because of the soil, the different minerals in the soil, but it's still an apple, man.
Yeah,
it's an apple.
There's no such thing as a mixed seed.
Or
Right.
or Mexican apple.
Right. Like, come on, man.
Hey, this is Exodus 18 and 1. When Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, which was a heathen, heard of all that God or the Most High had done for Moses and for Israel, his people, and that Yahweh had brought Israel out of Egypt, then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back, and her 2 sons, of which the name of the one was Gershom, for he said, I have been an alien in a strange name. Now, when you go into the Hebrew for Gershom, Strong's H16 and 47, pronounced as Gershom, which means what? A foreigner. So Moses had a son by heathen wife, right? But guess what? That still did not affect his son from being an Israelite. That's all they're saying. So yes, we can procreate with the women of these other nations, but still our seed dictates the lineage. For example, if Esau has a baby by a so-called Chinese woman, that baby is an Edomite, although that baby may look like a so-called Chinese man or a so-called Chinese girl. And that's it.
It's a simple concept, you know.
Yep.
All throughout the man's life, everybody know he has the sperm, he got the DNA, you know, and it's a simple concept. We put it in the woman. It's very simple, you know. We didn't know it at first because Esau had his lies and his philosophy, but now because of this truth, it makes so much sense, you know.
Even when they do DNA tests, they testing the father.
Yeah,
You know, they testing the father. Is you the father?
Right.
Hey, God damn, this man, cut the camera up.
Hey, get Genesis 29 and 24.
Bro, that was a beautiful point.
Yeah, beautiful.
Man,
Genesis 29 and 24.
So Genesis 29 and 24. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah, Zillah, Zilpah,
Yeah.
his maid for an handmaid.
So let's focus on this handmaid, right? Who was what? She was classified as what? A lesser wife, meaning she was a concubine, she was a heathen woman. That's why the scripture classified her as a handmaid. So when you go into that term, Zafar in the Hebrew Strong's page 2153 pronounced as Zalapa. Now this what this means. The Syrian given by Laban to Leah as a handmaid, a concubine, which means a lesser wife of Jacob, mother of Asher and Gad. So Asher and Gad's mom was a heathen woman. So they would be what? So-called mamzers according to the ideology. Because the definition for a mamzer, when you look it up Wikipedia, it tells you a Jew man that has a heathen woman. So some of the tribe's mothers actually were heathen women.
right.
Keep reading, bro.
Verse 25, and it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah, and he said to Laban, What is this thou hast done unto me? Do not I serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? And Laban said, It must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn.
It's about order. Go ahead, bro.
He said, fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years.
Continue.
And Jacob did so and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife also.
Right.
And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid.
Right. So guess what? At the process of time, Jacob impregnated his handmaid. So for Bala, Strong's H1090 is Balaha, right? And it goes into Rachel's handmaid, whom she gave to Jacob as a concubine, which means a lesser wife. So by default, if she's a lesser wife, she has to be a heathen. Mother of the 2 of Jacob's children, Dan and Naphtali. So Dan and Naphtali, Asher and Gad both had heathen mother, which makes them, by the way, that nigga was kicking it, so-called mamzers. And again, it's not about who your mom is, it has everything to do who your father is.
You know what, bro? And I'm still just thinking about what the brother Young Yard said, man. Because it's like you can't pick a side of when it comes to a nation, man. Okay, you can't have a child by a woman. Let's say Jake have a child by a Filipino lady, right? That Filipino child can't say, I want to be a Filipino. You know, he might want to say that, and they might want to call him a mixed child, but it's his father is who's going to be of his seed, so he's going to be a Jake. Okay, if you got a white woman, I mean a Filipino lady again, she have a baby with Esau, right? But she been sleeping with a Jake too, so they do the paternity test, and it turned out to be Esau. But the baby looked just like his mama and took all her characteristics, slanted eyes, skin complexion. Are you gonna say that baby is an Edomite, or are you gonna say that baby's Korean?
When they put that on the birth
Filipino?
certificate, they're gonna tell them what the father was.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's the seed is of the father. I don't give a damn who Jake lay with, what nation, what heathen woman it is. If they produce a child, that child is a Israelite, man.
I got you. Matthew 1:1. The book of the generation of Yahushua Mashiach, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac begat Jacob, and Jacob begat Judas and his brethren. So even if I jump all the way down to verse 16, and Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Yahushua, who is called Mashiach. So all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations, and from David until the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations, and from the carrying away into Babylon until Mashiach are 14 generations. The point is that lineage starts with men. Men lineages. Even when you go into Luke the 2nd chapter, when he talks about Mary's lineage, it's talking about what? From her father's side. The scriptures support what? That your lineage is dictated by your father.
Yo.
I got one
Go
too.
ahead, bro.
And I'm bringing this out to bring out the point, because if a man marry a woman, you know, they have children or whatever, and he decide not to deal with that woman no more because of some reason that from her, you know, that's what the scripture's gonna say, he gives her a bill of divorce and she leaves that house, and she don't take the kids with him, she don't take anything with him, and the scriptures, you know, it's gonna, we're gonna explain it. It's Deuteronomy 24 and 1 in the NLT. Suppose a man marries a woman, but she does not please him, having discovered something wrong with her, he writes a document of divorce, hands it to her, and sends her away from his house. When she leaves his house, she is free to marry another man, but she's not leaving with his substance or leaving with anything, especially not his children, because those seeds, those children belong to him. But if the second husband also turns against her, writes a document of divorce, hands it to her,
Hold on, make that point again. You said what? She's not leaving with what?
she's not leaving with any of his substance.
Genesis 21:12. And the Most High said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in your sight because of the lad, talking about Ishmael, and because of your bondwoman Hagar, and all that Sarah has said unto you, listen to her voice, for in Isaac shall your seed be called. And also of the son of the bondwoman I will make a nation, because he is your seed. This is the point. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a bowl of water and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder and the child, and sent her away, and she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Bathsheba.
Right. So that's all she got. That's all he gave her. You know, but women don't supposed to take half your substance like they do with these when you get a divorce from them. It ain't nothing but a trap.
Well, alimony. That term alimony means to nourish.
Right.
Meaning, as this woman is dealing with another nigga, you're still paying alimony. You're still nourishing her lifestyle so she can further be a whore.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
And that's why, like I say, everything again is definitely turned upside down, because these women, all the women, especially Eve and these Edomite women, when they get with a man who got a lot of substance, you know, athletes, actors, all that kind of stuff, when they get a divorce, Esau is gonna grant that woman with a whole lot of shit, man. Monies, houses, you know what I'm saying, a piece of everything. The children. Because why? Everything that he allowed these women to get, it's gonna still come back to him within his benefits from it. They're gonna get their cut of the check of the alimony. They're gonna get their cut of the check of the children. They're gonna get their cut of the check when it comes to paying child support,
Your
taxes,
retirement,
mortgages,
your 401k,
everything.
If you got houses, let's say you made this company, you married this woman and y'all got this company, or the woman didn't have no involvement in the company, well, you divorced that woman, and if you establish that company after the marriage, she's entitled to have it.
Yep.
But hey, Abraham did not give her that. He gave her bread and water.
It was already, it was law.
And that's why in this society, in this world, they're able to weaponize the children against you, because You don't hear about no cases where the man is keeping the kids from the woman and she paying child. You don't hear that. It's always the opposite role. But why? And people don't even really understand why. It's because the children really belong to the man.
And it goes back to Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter, when he talks about how a woman's mind is as bands and naps. These are mechanisms to entrap you and control you, right? By pregnancy. You know, having 2 or 3 kids by the dude. You know?
Because if they don't want to have the child, they can go off the child. The man ain't got no say-so about it. But if the man be like, you know, well, I don't want them to do it with the child, they keep it. The man still suffer the consequences behind it.
That's it.
No matter what, you lose.
You lose.
Catch 22.
Can't win.
And it says, verse 3, but if the second husband also turns against her, writes a divorce document of divorce, hands it to her, and sends her away, or if he dies, the first husband may not marry her again, for she have been defiled. And of course, that's going into keeping adultery down. And so adultery won't be in the nation. But also, to the woman, she don't leave that house and take the kids with her and half of the man's substance, and then the second man he sent her away. That's not how it goes.
Right.
But that happens all the time in Esau society. So the woman will go back to her ex-husband, right? Or leave the second husband and have sometimes 6 or 7 husbands.
That's why but see, Esau wasn't in Jacob's affairs back then. Jacob was running his house the way he's supposed to run it according to the scriptures, man. But now, Jacob get married, and I mean, hey, it done happen to some brothers. Some brothers had to catch that bullet, some brothers didn't. But you know what I'm saying, went to Esau's system, got the certificate, or the what is it? Not a certificate, the marriage license. And the marriage license, a license is just someone giving you permission to do so. So it's like Esau is giving you permission to marry, but under his rule of thumb. If y'all get divorced, y'all gotta come to me and I'm gonna sort it out. You know, he's gonna decide who get what and how much of who get as when it comes to the split, man. And that's how Esau gets his come up steady, man. But like back in the days, our forefathers, it was a rule of thumb in that house, man. Like the brother was bringing out when it comes to the bill of divorce. You take it to bill of divorce, this loaf of bread and this good water, and you know, you go on about your business.
And this is Genesis. Go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say, like, and that's how you know Esau full of bullshit, because the Bible's supposed to be the law of the land, right? And even in this court system, when you marry or even divorce, you're supposed to go by the scriptures, man. Because they lay it out plainly.
That's it.
You know?
This how you would know who the kids really belong to, the children really belong to.
Right. And this is Genesis 24:67. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. Right? What was the preacher?
Without no consent.
Right. What was the documentation? What was the license, you know what I'm saying, as far as the contractual agreements to say on paper that they're married? So again, Genesis 24:67. And Isaac brought her into his mother's Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death.
And it's always in this society, it's always an asking for permission, you know, because where is Esau when y'all become girlfriend and boyfriend? You know, it ain't nowhere. But then when it come to marriage, you gotta ask the woman, can you get married?
And
you
go ahead, make your point.
And I was just gonna say, then you gotta go ask for a marriage license, like you said.
But then in certain states, Esau have a common law. Like if you live with a man for a process of time in certain states, by default, y'all married. Why? Because at the end of the day, he knows that sex is what binds a man and a woman. That's how you become one flesh.
Esau slowly he get rid of that shit because you know, even when a man if a man dies, that property don't necessarily move on to a woman who wasn't necessarily his wife on paper, man. You know?
And I tell you this, sex now can quickly become a crime, man, because in some college campuses or some places, they're trying to pass this law that it's like a pretty much a window of consent. So say a guy and a chick meet up that night, they decide to do what they do, you know what I'm saying? If the chick see the guy the next day, not just in her favor now, if she see the guy the next day and she don't like the way he look or she a little embarrassed behind it, she can go say that man raped her. Yeah, look it up.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Believe in that word. If a woman warned you or brush up against you, she can go to the HR department and say, look, that is a form of sexual harassment, but basically she inspired it. I got another precept. This is Exodus chapter. This is oh, somebody speak. I lost my precept.
Like you were saying, basically, the attack is going to be against that man. You know, it empowers these women. Like you said, with the example of the sexual harassment, like the laws and the way Esau even has everything set up, is all catered toward giving that woman that power.
Yeah.
That's why with the whole, you got to ask them for permission for marriage.
That's right.
But you the main provider.
Exactly.
It don't even make, it don't even add up.
It don't. You paying everything, but you gotta get on your knees and basically ask her to be your wife.
How can I beg you to take care of you?
Right, right. And then you have a fucking stroke and she's gone.
Right.
Now you done took care of this motherfucker for 20 years, but you have a stroke, paralyzed on the left side, and she's gone with the next time.
You don't loyalty.
Yeah.
Or you done got on your damn knees and spent all your dollars to get that ring and that bitch tell you no.
Yeah. But then, and then this mother looked me in my eyes and told me for better and worse.
Right.
Hey, what Uncle Elroy said? I was gone. Hey, this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 26, 36, and verse. Oh, I don't know. Man, say no more. This coming. Yeah, I want to say he that gets a wife. Ecclesiasticus 36 to 24. He that gets a wife begins a possession.
Possession. If a man get a woman, he get a property, man.
Yeah.
You know, she become part of his property. He be her owner, man.
That's right.
You know.
Yeah.
In layman terms, you know, that's your goddamn owner.
That's it.
You know.
That's right. He that gets a wife begins a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of
Man, you're
rest.
supposed to be a pillar of rest, man.
right.
Hey, but this damn devil, he done turned you out and he done made you a pillar of stress. You know, because you, hey, a lot of you women, and you be the cause, part of the cause of your husband's death. You know,
Yeah.
stressing the fuck out, and then they croak, and like your brother said, then you gone, man.
Well, it's prison sentence.
This is Genesis 2 and 18. And Yahweh Power said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him and help me for him.
That's an investment.
Yeah.
Because you supposed to add value to that man, and in return, you know, he gonna invest into you. He gonna make sure you good and taken care of, and that way you can continue on to produce. You know, it's a system.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and women look at, like you said, this society make women look at it like that's oppressive. When you get everything that you were designed for getting taken care of, and you're doing you're serving your purpose.
Right. Hey, this is 1 Peter 3 and 5. For after this manner in the old time, the holy women also, which means what? Consecrated, separate, who trusted in the Most High, adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands.
Being in subjection, meaning serving your purpose. Because one thing that Esau Edom has basically pushed throughout the whole world with his westernization, that everyone is a creation. So if you're a creation, then you have a purpose.
That's right.
You know, everything that the Lord, like he said in the beginning, it was good, meaning for the purpose that I created it for, it's going to serve it. So that's good.
You know, if you're going under subjection, you mean you're going to be under the rule of your husband. Genesis 3:16, man.
Right. That's not a bad thing, man. I mean, for a woman to be in order and subject to her husband, man, that's really like a badge of honor, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To be able to do that, because, you know, that's what woman wouldn't want to serve their man, man, or their husband, and make sure he's straight, man. That's because she's supposed to be a nurturer anyway.
Last verse. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters you are, as long as you do well and are not afraid with any amazement.
We don't even get called sir now. it's niggas.
All right, hey, with that, we want to give all honor and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakudash.
want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone Ruel. Peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David the elect. Abba,
Abba, Bum Yashalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.